getting a tech job in 2024 is pretty tough right now. And it is even more tough if you're applying for AI, ML, and data science roles. In this video, I'll go over what are the main reasons why getting an AI, ML roles is so tough in today's job market. And I'll provide some suggestions on what you can do to increase your chances of getting an AI, ML role even in today's job market. My name is Anwar, and I've been working as a data scientist in big tech companies for the last 10 years. And in my entire career, I have never seen getting an AI, ML job so tough as we are seeing today. To understand why that's happening, we have to first look holistically at the tech job market. AI ML roles are a subset of tech jobs. So whatever trends we see holistically influencing the tech job market influence the AI ML roles as well. Let's first look at this graph. This is coming from TrueUp, and it shows the number of open tech jobs in the last 2 to 3 years. As we can see that the number of total open jobs have declined significantly in the last 2 years, and the total open jobs currently stand around 216,000. Now this number might look still even good that there are more than 200,000 job openings for tech industry, but when you look at the supply of candidates, this is just not enough. The first thing which you have to keep into account is that about 20% of these jobs are ghost jobs. Now what is a ghost job? Ghost job is simply people posting some jobs where they do not intend to hire candidate, at least for the short term. Some companies just do it so that they can keep a healthy pool of candidate available, so that whenever they are actually planning to hire, they don't have to go through the hassle of finding candidates. Some companies post open positions just to showcase that they are in a hiring mode and growing mode. But whatever the reasons, recently we have been seeing that there is quite a rise in ghost jobs, and candidates applying for these jobs never hear back, and these jobs stay open for many months without hiring anyone. So if about 20% of these jobs are ghost jobs, that means we have to subtract 40,000 out of this number. Now let's look at the pool of available candidates. Some big chunks are people who have been recently laid off from their companies. This chart on the same website shows that in the last 4 months alone, about 98,000 tech people have lost their jobs. So of course they are in the job market competing against these open jobs. Next, we know that about 85,000 people would be coming on job visas, which is H-1B in the US. And though it is for all the open jobs, but 90% plus of these H-1B roles are related to tech industry. So about 80,000 new people would be coming into the US on these H1 roles, and of course they would be competing against these open jobs. Then we have universities producing a lot of new CS graduates. According to this estimate, in the last 6 months alone, there are about 60,000 new CS graduates from the universities. Now of course, I'm just touching on the bigger buckets. There are some other buckets, for example, people who have been searching for jobs over the last 6 months, people coming from boot camps or other fields into the tech industry. So when you combine all of these, the number of applicants is easily above 300,000. And when they compete against 216,000 open jobs, out of which about 40,000 are actually ghost jobs, you can see that there is a lot of fierce competition. And because there is a lot of competition, it is very essential that you put your best foot forward when you're applying for these roles. And one of the best way to stand out is have a stellar resume. I've created a free guide on how you can create an excellent resume, which is both ATS friendly as well as stands out in the eyes of the recruiter. The link for that free guide is in the description below. Please check it out. Now, as we have looked at the overall tech job market, let's see how the AI ML roles are doing specifically. We all know that ever since Harvard Business Review declared data scientists as the sexiest job of the 20th century, there was a lot of influx of new people trying to learn data science and ML. And this trend of getting into AI ML further increased with the advancements of Gen AI when tools like ChatGPT and Google Gemini started emerging in late 2021. So there is, of course, a lot of new people who are trying to get into the AI ML industry, either coming from adjacent tech roles or coming from totally non-tech backgrounds. And this coupled with the fact that learning surface level AI ML is actually not very hard today. There are some excellent learning resources available. Most of them are actually free of cost. The ML libraries like scikit-learn, PyTorch, have matured enough that with the single line commands of .fit, .predict, you can actually train pretty sophisticated machine learning models. And even when you have no clue or don't know what to do, you can ask ChatGPT and Google Gemini, and it can tell you what kind of machine learning model you should use, what kind of transformations you should be applying, and even it will help you write the code to do all the heavy lifting for you. So that ease of learning lowers the barrier for entry, which means a lot of people want to get into this industry, and with minimal effort they can learn most of the surface level knowledge which is needed on the day-to-day basis. And that is why you would see that there are a lot of applicants against most of these AI, ML, Gen AI related roles. This recent article on LinkedIn highlighted that for the 80 roles analyzed, of which most of them were related to AI, ML, there were on average 1,000 plus applicants for each job. And since companies are getting a lot of resumes for any AI ML role they open up, their counter strategy against this is, one, they're mainly trying to hire for senior people who have much more real life industry experience, rather than people who have just learned the fancy tools where you can do AI ML without much deep knowledge. And the second thing which they are doing is that they are putting in just every kind of skill set possible in the job requirement. Here are some example job descriptions for AI ML roles. You can see that they have put in pretty much everything they can think of into the job requirement. And since they already have a very big pool of applicants, they can just pick someone who knows pretty much everything. And this makes getting a job very, very tough for people who do not have a lot of prior background and deep AI ML knowledge. So the question is that if you are a junior AI ML engineer or a data scientist, what you can do to increase your odds of actually landing a job in today's tough job market. I have sort of a good news for you. The root cause for all these decline in number of job postings, all these layoffs, and all this surge in ghost jobs is one thing, and that is high interest rates. We can see there is a pretty clear correlation. When the interest rates went down in 2020, the number of tech jobs just skyrocketed. And when the interest rates started going up, we started seeing decline in these tech jobs. And Federal Reserve Bank in the US has just dropped the interest rate by a whopping 0.5%. Now you won't see an impact on job market for next 4 to 6 months, but this will definitely have an impact. Fed has also announced that they will further gradually decrease the interest rates. And I'm pretty sure that this will relax the job market in the next year. So don't be hopeless. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, what you can do to best prepare yourself is, first, do not just stay on the surface and try to learn these fancy tools, because everyone can learn it and everyone can claim to be an AI ML specialist by going through a 12-hour course. You have to go a little more deep. You have to learn the fundamentals of most of the machine learning models so that whenever you get an interview opportunities, you are well prepared for it. The other advice I would have for you is that if you are currently jobless, try to get even an unpaid internship at some companies. Having some real life industry experience is significantly important for you to be able to stand out against those hundreds of other candidates. Another thing worth looking into is that since there is a lot of competition for these AI, ML, Gen AI, data science related roles, try looking into some adjacent roles. There are more job openings, not that much competition because these are not as sexy jobs as data science, AI, ML. And also the hiring bar is a little low because they do not require a vast variety of skill set. Some such example of these roles is data analyst role, business analyst roles. So look into those roles as well. And as I said before, the number one thing you can do to ensure that you stand out among all other applicants is how good your resume is. I cannot emphasize the importance of a good resume. I've created a totally free guide on the actual resume I have used, which helped me got into jobs at Cisco, Meta, Wells Fargo. The link for that is in the description. Feel free to download it and change it according to your own experience and education. And I've created a separate video on the topic of how you can find some low competition jobs so that the number of applicants on those roles are not high and you have a good chance of standing out and actually getting an interview schedule. The link for that should be somewhere here. Please check it out. I'm pretty sure you'll like it. Thank you so much for watching.